Do you miss those days at the start of a relationship where everything was just warm and fuzzy? Whether your relationship is on the rocks or you just want to strengthen the bond with your partner, here are 5 habits that can help you to bring your relationship to life. Hi, I'm Angela from GrowthGarden. The insights in this video are largely inspired by Gottman's 7 principles for making marriage work, along with 5 love languages and non-verbal communications. Feel free to check out the links in the description below. And feel free to deep dive into our other videos on these books. To begin with, what is a healthy relationship? When we first fall in love, we go through a honeymoon phase when everything just seems perfect. This in-love phase usually lasts up to 2 years. After this honeymoon period, our differences start to surface and the cracks begin to appear in our relationships. Sadly, the majority of the worst divorces happen within the first 7 years. But you don't need to wait 2 years to find out if your relationship will really last. Famous psychologist and relationship expert Dr. Gottman can observe a couple for just a few minutes and predict with 95% accuracy if they will still be married after 15 years. This is possible because he has researched thousands of couples in his love lab. And in his studies, he found that there are 4 critical signs that predict if a relationship is in trouble. Can you guess what they are? Is it compatibility, common interests, communication, personality, or something else? Well, all those are relevant factors in a relationship, but they are not the reasons why marriages and long-term relationships fail. Have you heard of the legend of the 4 horsemen that will bring about the end of the world? Well, according to Dr. Gottman, there are also 4 horsemen that are guaranteed to kill any relationship. These 4 relationship killers are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Let's look at each one in turn. Criticism. It's hard to feel love if you're personally attacked. Instead of hearing an objective comments like, "You didn't take out the garbage," you hear a personal judgment. "Why are you so lazy?" Contempt. It's also really difficult to feel good in a relationship if you don't feel respected. Such as having your partner respond with contempt and sarcasm. "Yeah, right," as if you do everything perfectly. Defensiveness. It's challenging to express your thoughts and feelings if everything you say gets thrown back at you. For example, your partner may be saying, "Look, it's not my fault." Or, "How can you criticize me when you just did the same thing yesterday?" With all this building up, we get flooded by negative feelings, and that's where the 4th relationship killer comes in. Stonewalling. This basically means that you shut out and ignore your partner or the issue. "We are not talking anymore." So, how do we prevent these 4 factors from hurting and killing our relationships? The truth is, it takes effort to build a healthy relationship. According to Dr. Gottman, the core to a happy marriage is a strong friendship built on positivity, respect, and confidence in each other. These will take your relationship beyond the in-love feeling to actually sharing a lasting, genuine love for each other. Here are the 5 habits to help you get there. Habit number 1. Keep asking questions with curiosity. Have you had bad days in your relationship where you think, "I really don't know my partner anymore"? To avoid feeling alienated, we have to get into the habit of staying curious about our partner. Let's face it, people change. In long-term relationships such as marriage, we all go through different phases in life, such as having children, changing jobs, or experiencing personal losses. John Gottman has a useful concept called a love map. Basically, this is a mental map where you store all the details about your partner, such as their thoughts, feelings, and ideals. That way, you don't turn into strangers over time. You can literally interview your partner like a journalist, or have fun quizzing each other. Try questions like, "Who are my 3 closest friends? What is stressing me right now? What's my biggest dream? What was I doing last night after dinner?" Make sure to check out our summaries for more ways to do these activities. Or get the books to try the exercises for yourself. Habit number 2. Build each other's emotional reserves. Do you sometimes feel empty or distant from your partner, like they've fallen out of love? Earlier, we touched on how people can change over time. We also experience all sorts of stress and conflicts, which leads to arguments and negative feelings in the relationship. After a while, it can feel like we are flooded with negative feelings and we can't remember what it was like to be happy or in love. In fact, you might even struggle to remember what you loved or admired about your partner in the first place. Happy couples don't counter such negativity by relying on getaways, expensive dates, or gifts. Instead, they practice loving and admiring each other every single day. You can do this by focusing on shared moments in the past or building on small things in the present. Regularly take time to recall your early days of courtship or marriage. Or deliberately think about how you feel about your partner's good qualities and share that with him or her. These help to fill your emotional bank accounts and create a reservoir of positive feelings to serve as a buffer against bad times. You can explicitly talk about the times when your partner made deposits into your love account, such as doing the groceries or taking time out to chill with you, as opposed to the withdrawals, such as forgetting an anniversary or being late for your dates. The idea isn't to judge each other, but to become aware of how you feel and to mend any reefs. In our previous video on the 5 love languages, we introduced a similar concept called the love tank, where you ask your partner, how full is your love tank today? And focus on filling it with their love language. Share this video with your partner so you can both try out the activities together. Habit number 3, listen and connect openly. Have you heard of the still face experiment by Dr. Edward Tronick? At the start of the experiment, mothers interacted normally with their infants. They smiled, cooed at them, and shared gentle touches. And then, the mother suddenly became unresponsive by keeping their faces still and expressionless. Now, initially, the infants tried really hard to get their mother's attention. They pointed, smiled, made noises, and so on. But over time, they got visibly more distressed. They started to fuss, cry, or totally withdrew. Interestingly, once the mothers resumed normal interactions, the infants quickly recovered from their distress. What we saw in the infants actually reflect our fundamental human need for connection. As adults, we also get distressed when we get a still face from our loved ones, such as when our questions go unanswered or they don't return our eye contact, smiles, or physical gestures. These are called bits of connection. They are our attempt to make a positive connection, and we usually expect a positive emotional reaction in return. Here are several common bits of attention to look out for. We have the address for the restaurant, right? I really don't think I have time to finish this. Can you watch a movie with me? Other bits for connection may be less obvious, but they are no less important. For example, when your partner reaches out for your hand or tells you a seemingly mundane story about her day at work. The key is to lean towards each other, listen beyond their words and tone, and assume that there's a reasonable request behind every message. On the other hand, if you listen or respond with contempt, then you will truly miss what they're really saying. To find out how you can listen better, subscribe and check out our video on communication tips. Habit number 4, face problems together as a team. Have you ever tried solving a problem with your partner only to feel at odds with each other by the end of it? It's really important for a couple to work together as a team when you face a problem. And as Dr. Gottman says, there are 2 types of problems: situational versus perpetual problems. Situational problems are generally easier to handle because they are solvable. The main thing you need to do is to soften your tone and approach to avoid bringing the 4 relationship killers. You can check out our video on how to prepare for a deep conversation with your partner. During such discussions, it helps to soothe each other throughout the conversation to diffuse any tensions. Instead of arguing who's right or wrong, try to find common ground so you can reach a compromise. You'll reach a much better outcome if you can accept your partner's flaws instead of expecting them to change. Perpetual problems are trickier. If left unchecked, they can lead to stonewalling, which is the worst relationship killer. And remember, 69% of marriage problems cannot fully be resolved. That's because they involve complex values and aspirations that form a part of our self-identity. That was the first thing I was told during a relationship counseling session. In other words, these issues will keep resurfacing. You can only agree to compromise in the moment and reassess things in the future. The key is to make time and space for deep conversations to address such problems. Try to understand each other's dreams and why they are fueling the conflict. Give your partner the time and space to talk, and really listen to try to understand where they are coming from. Offer your support, share their dreams, or at the very least, honor their point of view. After discussing a problem, remember to acknowledge each other by saying thank you. Habit number 5, remember your shared purpose and meaning. Do you and your partner share jokes, expressions, or activities that only the 2 of you can appreciate? These can extend to bigger things such as shared goals and dreams. Such things help you to build a sense of common purpose that strengthens your bond. When you keep your shared purpose in mind, it's much easier to cultivate the 4 positive habits that we just discussed earlier and to keep the 4 relationship killers at bay. It's actually possible to create your own culture in your relationships. Discuss your respective role, such as who will be the main caregiver for the kids. Talk about the goals and dreams that you want to move toward, such as moving to a neighborhood that you both love. Rituals are also an important part of the relationship culture, such as reserving a date night away from the kids each week, having coffee together in the mornings, or just taking a stroll in the park over the weekends. In the end, a happy relationship doesn't just happen. Each interaction, be it positive or negative, all adds up. By working on the 5 habits that we just discussed and avoiding the 4 relationship killers, you can definitely tip the scales to a happier, positive, and more fulfilling relationship. Don't forget to check the links below for the books that I mentioned, where there are loads of useful tips and resources to help you implement the ideas that we just explored. And if you want to strengthen your relationship, you can explore how to get into the habit of having conflict-free conversations together. You can start your journey with this video. I'll see you there.